effective communication, do you think? Civility is #1 factor in effective communication, to be civil. Effective communication is transmission of ideas or opinions or words or expressions, and it's effective when there is a sender and a receiver. And it's effective when the sender sends a message and it's received by the receiver in the same way and context that the sender wanted to. And we need to remember that there is a lot of factors in between. There is when the channel that we are using, so is it written, is it verbal, is it non-verbal? And then I'm the sender. Every single message that I send to Karen depends on my background, on my knowledge, on my values, on my beliefs. And then I code the message and I send it to Karen, and then Karen decodes my message based on her background, on her culture, on her values, on her beliefs. So that's why effective communication needs to be very clear. We cannot go to someone, a manager cannot go to their assistant and tell them, we need the printer ink. Okay, so whenever the assistant has the time, they will order for ink when the manager needed it for a meeting tomorrow. But did he communicate effectively?
No.
Exactly. Different than the way if he came to them and said, like, Maria, we need printer ink. We have an account with this vendor. We have a meeting tomorrow at 12 noon. So we need to have that ink before 11. And we need 10 of them. Was that a clear message?
Yes.
We need to remember that. And even the way we emphasize on words. Like if I say, I did not come late. Different than I did not come late. Different than I did not come late. See, even the same expression said with different tones of voice give you different meanings. So we need to realize that, and sometimes the noise around us. And we're going to go through the barriers in a second. So we need to understand what is understandable language, transmit a clear message, develop relationships with others, avoiding communication barriers, and we're going to go through that in a second. Communication that instills trust, openness, honesty, and cooperation. Okay, let's talk first about the barriers of communication, and it's page 6. The first one is physical, meaning is like if there is a wall between us, we are in different offices, or we are in different building, or we have, how they have partitions sometimes, and you're talking through the partition so people might not understand what you're saying. The second one is perceptual. Let's do that exercise. I bought an expensive car. Monica, how much do you think I paid for the car?
I don't know.
Just give me, I need you to guess a number.
$70,000.
$70,000. Maria?
$55,000.
$55,000. Sylvia?
$80,000.
$80,000. Jennifer?
$40,000.
$40,000. And then
50.
I paid $150,000.
What? Whoa.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
We're in the wrong shop.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? My perception of expenses is over $100,000.
Yes.
And then it's from $40,000 to $80,000. And I'm $150,000.
Wow.
So it's perception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we say, if you asked me when I was 10 years old, what is old for you? I would tell you a person that's 20 years old. When I got in my 20s, it was someone that's 35. When I got in my 30s, it's someone that is 45. When I got in my 40s right now, like now, I'll tell you maybe 70, 80. So our perception of what is old is different. And that's we need to realize that. So that could be, I could be talking about a subject and then you're putting in your mind that I paid $80,000 and in my mind it's $150,000 and I'm talking about all that and you're talking about something totally different.
Right.
Because we did not communicate properly on what was your perception equal to the reality or not. So we need to realize that there is perception in communication. The third one is psychological. If you don't like someone, no matter what they're going to tell you, goes from here, I'm from here. You know? And then the language and jargon. Language, like, again, you know, I do have an accent. Sometimes people get things, sometimes you don't get things. And the same way, if I hear a British person, I won't get half of what they say. You know, or an Australian person, you know? So it depends on accents or language. Even people that speak the English language. Like in England, when they say, what does it mean when we say to table something?
To what?
Table an item.
Put it
Put it
away.
on the table?
Put it?
Put it away.
Put away.
Ignore it.
Or ignore, or schedule it for a later time. Okay? Table, yeah, that's for music corporate. Table, an item in England meaning let's work on it right now.
Wow, it's totally opposite.
It's totally opposite. And they speak English. You know, when they say a queue, meaning a line. When they say a lift, meaning an elevator. A flat, it's an apartment. And they speak English. You know, so, and it's the same in different, like, in between, for example, Mexicans and Colombians. I know that Mexicans, when they joke around, you know, friends, male friends, when they joke, they go cabron. You know, and it's like, yes, it's an insult, but they use it sometimes as a joke.
Yeah.
You know, but in Colombia, you cannot say that even as a joke. You know, it's a big insult. In Arabic, a word in Egyptian that means happy in Iraq would mean someone has been beaten up. You know, the first time that I came to the United States, that I was still a student and I came on TWA from Cairo to New York.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
TWA?
Yeah, TWA, yeah.
Wow,
80.
70s.
80, no, 80.
Okay.
I came in 84 for the first time to visit Los Angeles, and then I moved permanently in 86. It has been a while, yeah. So I came in, and the air hostess told me, I told her something, I told her thank you, and she said, you bet. I got very offended. Exactly, now it's just like, what's the big deal? Now that's how I think about it, because I know it's a slang word,
Right.
but where it came from, betting, is like gambling, and gambling is a sin. Or we grew up thinking that from now, you know, Vegas, yeah, here we come, you know.
Right.
But that's the way we grew up. That gambling is a sin, you know. So for me, why are you comparing me with a sin? That's how my mind worked at that time, you know. So it's the language, the jargon. If you have someone from IT that comes and tells you the CPU and the motherboard and the whatever, I'm not gonna get anything they say. Though they're communicating with me. You know, if a doctor comes to me and starts telling me the nephritis of the hypertension or whatever, I'm not going to get what they're saying. You know, they have to put it in. So we need to realize that whoever we're talking to might not get our profession.
We need to put it in a simpler way where they would understand it.
Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. You know, and it's so, but we forget sometimes. Or some people sometimes like to show off. You know, so they use words that people don't know, you know, or people that just don't realize that they are unconscious, that they are being difficult because they're not communicating properly with people. Gender. We don't have any males here, but we always know that males are from Mars and females are from Venus. You know, because males and females communicate in a different way. We hint. We don't go directly onto a subject. Males have something that is already like, you know, this is what I mean, facts, tasks, you know, and once they're at work, they're at work. When they're with their friends, when they're at home, they're at home. Who has or had a boyfriend or a husband and asked them to bring something coming back home and they never do?
No. Oh, for sure. This is what they do.
You know why?
Or they bring half of it.
Yeah.
You know
Or they
why?
almost bring it. Yeah.
You know why? It's not, they don't want to be rude. And it's not like they don't want to be cooperative. You call them at work. They were in that drawer called work.
Yeah, they're very partitioned.
They're very partitional, exactly.
So this is at home too.
Well, they were at home. No, they were, you know what? They act into little tasks and everything belongs to its place. So if you really want to catch them when they are right out of work. but probably they won't answer the phone. But so, just like, this is what I mean by gender communication. We imply things. We don't go direct because we want to build that relationship. We want to nurture that relationship, right? So I want to go to Jamaica, and I don't want to go and tell him, no, we need to go on vacation because I don't want to tell him what to do, you know? So there is some hotel advertisement on TV, you know, it's like, oh my God, look how beautiful the water looks. Yeah? And he's like, uh-huh.
Exactly.
You know, oh my God, look at them, look how, they look like they're having fun, no? Yeah. Yeah, and, it looks at me funny, yeah? I'm like, oh look, this airline is having a discount. Yeah. Yeah. that could be so much fun to go and just like spend some time and relax. Can I watch my program now?
Yeah.
You know? And I want to tell him, let's go to Jamaica. You know, so it's just like whether I had to just go and tell him, let's go to Jamaica, instead of turning implying stuff. So this is another way of communication. They don't get. Exactly. They don't get what, so we do that sometimes at work too. So we need to be aware of that. Generation, and we talked about that in length the last time. How different generations communicate in different styles based on the era they grew up in. And then culture, race, and religion, of course, because we are all products of our environment. So part of communication is verbal, part is written, and part is nonverbal. And you have the emails do and don't is on page 6. We're not going to go through it because of time, but I mean you're welcome to read it. Part of the verbal, I want you to know that women, how many words do you think women speak a day?
A lot. I don't know. I mean, I know it's more than men. I don't know how much. But
More than 25,000 words a day.
what?
Yeah. They did a lot of statistics and they found that. How many words do you think men speak a day?
1,000?
5,000. 5,000 and
12,000. They have.
Some men.
And in speaking, we need to remember that we speak between,
That's not a word.
I don't know which, I think it's one of the universities in California that does this study. And they found out that we speak between 100 and 120 words a minute. But our brain at the same time thinks about between 400 and 500 words a minute. So we know that there is a disconnect. And that's why sometimes we drift, or we daydream, or we don't pay attention to whoever Maria is telling me. So I will miss a word, and that's the crucial word in the whole conversation, so I will just lose the whole conversation. And that communication will get disconnected.